Our objective in the education system is to get our students back in the face-to-face mode as quickly and as safely as we can. Obviously, we have to be guided by the Ministry of Health and Wellness. And while we're waiting, our children will still have access to education via the online mode, via our learning kit, and via the audiovisual platforms that we have.
You heard the minister. Come Monday morning, students will start the new school year in the virtual classroom. Though face-to-face classes have been postponed, learning continues. Welcome to Jamaica Magazine. We have more useful information to prepare you and your family for the new academic year. I'm Audrey Williams, and I'll be taking you through the lessons today. Stay right there.
It's the 11th staging of the JIS Heritage Competition. Students, show your national pride by entering the essay, poster and photo competition. Primary school students, enter the essay competition. Triumphant, proud and free. Use this phrase from the song Jamaica Land of Beauty to explain our nation's heritage and achievements. High school students, design a poster that best portrays the phrase triumphant, proud and free. And university students, capture a photo that depicts the phrase triumphant, proud and free. Submit your entries by October 31. Visit jis.gov.jm for competition guidelines. Triumphant, proud and free. The JIS Heritage Competition 2021.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Friday, September 3, 2021. Government will soon be outsourcing and contracting private personnel to assist in ramping up the island's vaccination program. Prime Minister Andrew Holness made the disclosure during his virtual press conference at Jamaica House on Wednesday.
And you will see that comments very soon, an announcement should be made. You will see that go through a procurement process of bringing in private contractors. And that will obviously include members of the private medical profession who would come in and assist. We have scaled up the involvement of the private sector through what is called the Private Sector Vaccination Initiative, and that is going to be focused on a sectoral industry approach. So, for example, in collaboration with the private sector, we want to rapidly increase vaccination in the tourism sector.
He says other sectors being targeted include BPO, construction, private security and education, along with the financial, quick and retail services. In the interim, the Prime Minister will be meeting with the Ministry of Health to discuss how they can achieve greater control at vaccination sites to reduce overcrowding.
We will be saying some more about how we're going to be managing the vaccination process, just to make sure that it is safe, it meets the standards, but also that it is convenient.
The Statistical Institute of Jamaica is now in the process of conducting the 2021 Reproductive Health Survey to identify the factors that impact population size and growth in the country. The survey is being conducted on behalf of the National Family Planning Board. It will update the country on the status of total fertility and contraceptive use, as well as the population's knowledge, attitude, and practice towards family planning and sexual reproductive health. The survey will also look at maternal and child care, infant and child mortality, and to a lesser extent, sexually transmitted infections and HIV/AIDS. A team of 157 members will visit householders across all parishes to gather data from women and men aged 15 to 49 years. Principal Director of the National Family Planning Board, Lovette Byfield, gave an update during a JIS think tank session on Wednesday.
The information which will be gleaned from this survey will be used in determining program implementation and other vital issues specific to how we deal with the issues relating to reproductive health. And by reproductive health, we are not just referring to pregnancies, we're also referring to sexually transmitted infections, mortality rates, and some of those other issues.
Meanwhile, Staten is assuring the public that all data collected during the Reproductive Health Survey will be held in the strictest confidence. Head of the Special Projects Unit, Philone Mantock, says all data will be published in an aggregated manner, which means names and information to identify an individual are removed. Respondents are also given a unique number that does not indicate where they are from.
Interviewers have to sign a Secrets Act as well as a form of oath, and this adheres that they maintain the confidentiality. Anything that is disclosed to them, they have to keep it private. The tablets that we collect the data on, it's password protected. The application system is password protected as well, so it is very hard for somebody to break into the system.
She adds that while the sensitive nature of the information being gathered means interviews will be done one-on-one in a private setting, COVID-19 protocols will be observed by the team. Registration for participation in the 7th Regional Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction in the Americas and the Caribbean, RP21, will resume on September 5. The event, which was originally scheduled for July 8 to 10 last year in Montego Bay, will now be hosted virtually from November 1 to 4. It was postponed due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
I would invite everybody to stay tuned on a social media channel and on the regional platform webpage to see when registration open, registered. We are really organizing a top quality event, both in terms of the content and of having a very nice virtual experience, so you will not be disappointed.
For updates on registration, visit rp-americas.undrr.org or the United Nations Disaster Risk Reduction Facebook and Twitter pages using the handle UNDRR. And finally, the Jamaica Information Service JIS is now accepting entries for its 2021 Heritage Competition. The annual event targets students attending primary, secondary, and tertiary learning institutions. It forms part of the JIS's thrust to engage students in national discussions and to widen their knowledge about Jamaica's heritage. The essay competition is open to primary students who must write 400 to 500 words on the theme Triumphant, Proud, and Free, taken from the national song Jamaica Land of Beauty. Students at the secondary level may submit poster entries on the theme in one of two categories, graphic design or illustration. Posters should be no larger than 11 by 17 inches and include no other image than those provided on the JIS website through Dropbox. Tertiary students can enter to win the photographic competition with a photo also on the theme Triumphant, Proud, and Free. Prizes will be awarded to the top 3 entries in each category. Deadline for the submission of entries is Sunday, October 31. To learn more about the heritage competitions, persons may visit the JIS website at jis.gov.jm or contact Christine Adegold at 876-926-3590-4, extension 2137 or 2132. They may also email heritagephoto@jis.gov.jm, heritageposter@jis.gov.jm, or heritageessay@jis.gov.jm. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Since online learning will be the order of the day on Monday, our next feature is geared towards helping you have a successful virtual session. Coming up, a student from the Denby High School in Clarendon shares 9 easy tips that you can use to cope while learning online. It's now been our reality for over a year. In-person learning replaced by online engagement. As the COVID-19 pandemic continues to affect how we interface, students are learning to adapt to this new era of education. Many are coping well, but some simply have not. In today's feature, we will highlight how 12-year-old Thea Nango is helping her schoolmates cope with online learning. Thean is a grade 7 student at the Denby High School in Clarendon. She recently came to the aid of her schoolmates after creating a video to help them cope with virtual classes.
I noticed that some of my students were coping while majority of my students were not coping so well. So I decided to ask the ones who are coping to share their strategy. And Tia Nango was the most outstanding one.
In her roughly 1 minute and 20 seconds video, Thean can be seen outlining to her classmates the steps she takes to prepare for online class.
Well, for me, I prepare for online class by waking up early in the mornings, about 5 a.m. I do my chores, practice proper hygiene, and eat a balanced diet. And I also get ready for my class at 8 a.m.
She then goes further to list 9 tips they can use to have a successful virtual session.
9 tips you can do to have a fun and educational online class. Number 1, practice time management. Number 2, eliminate distractions. Number 3, stay motivated. Number 4, limit social media. Number 5, figure out how you learn your best. Number 6, hold yourself accountable. Number 7, make the most of online class discussions. Number 8, always be ready for any activity. And last, set a major goal that you want to achieve.
This video was very helpful to my students in particular. I shared it with my students during form time, and I noticed that the students were more open and willing to share the things that they were experiencing. Students are participating a little better, whereas that they're interested in participating, they want to assist with completing tasks. So I realized that the students are a little more interested in school.
I feel very happy in myself that I could get to help someone in my classroom to cope with it better.
As a result of her form class's positive response to Thean's video, Ms. Blake decided to share it with the school's grade 7 coordinator.
I shared her video. I shared it with the grade coordinator so they can share it in the different grade 7 WhatsApp group. She was very excited about the video. She was like, "This is really good, Miss Blake. This is a great idea." So she shared it with the other students.
The fact that Thean was able to put together such a useful video that is now helping her entire grade came as no surprise to her form teacher and parents, who have always regarded her as a hardworking, responsible, and focused student.
Thean possesses one quality that I think is missing in most students: passion. She's passionate about school, passionate about learning. I can count on Tian if I'm not there to send me a message to say, "Miss, I'm in class and I'm not seeing you." And I'll be like, "Tian, I'm on my way, don't worry. Just a little delay with my internet," because sometimes that happens. Tian is an assistant for monitor for the class. She is very active. She completes her tasks effectively. One of her tasks is to post the names of the students in the WhatsApp group so that the parents can see the names of the students who are present for the day. And she's always on time. I can say so far her grades are in 80 and above. Excellent grades. So she's doing really well in school.
Her father and I are so proud of her, and the whole family feel proud of what she does. So I'm happy and I'm giving God thanks that she will continue to perform.
The aspiring lawyer and soldier has pledged to continue to excel in her studies so that she can further make herself, her parents, and teachers proud.
I want to continue doing well at Denby for my few years ahead, and I wish to help other students at Denby that are coming up in my generation now. And I can't achieve that without studying and my family and friends and the Lord with me.
For Tian, I wish her all the best, and I want to encourage her to continue to work hard and to do her best at all times. For my students, I want to encourage them to follow the tips carefully, continue to do their best, and it doesn't matter the situation, doesn't matter where they're placed, whether it's online or physical, they can do it.
Due to the safety risks and restrictions posed by the coronavirus, more and more parents may be considering homeschooling this year. If this is true for you, here are the steps you can take to get started. On March 10, 2020, Jamaica received an unwelcomed visitor, the novel coronavirus COVID-19. Just as its arrival was unwanted, so has been its lingering presence. Its refusal to leave means our daily operations have changed. Mask wearing, social distancing, and online learning are among the new normal. Due to the threats posed by the virus, more and more parents and guardians are resorting to homeschooling their children so that learning can continue in a safe environment. Whether you are planning to temporarily or permanently undertake homeschooling this year, this feature is for you.
Homeschooling, wow, it is what you make it in a sense, because there is no strict definition really. It is simply a matter of the parent or guardian of the child being homeschooled, taking full control of the schooling, the education of the child. So that may take place in the home physically. It can be anywhere where the parent or guardian has control, but it's really you, the guardian, the parent, managing the education experience for the child.
Every parent or guardian who wishes to homeschool their child in Jamaica must be guided by the standards provided by the Ministry of Education through the Independent Schools Unit.
The Independent Schools Unit in the Ministry of Education has a mandate of registering and monitoring, regulating independent schools, and independent schools are privately owned institutions. We serve institutions that cater to private education for students who are based on the Education Act and the Independent Schools Regulation between age 8 to 19 years old.
In order to start your homeschooling registration, there are a number of requirements to be met.
We invite them to submit to us a completed application, and that is an application customized in the unit based on the regulations of the Independent Schools Unit. But in addition to that, we also ask them to submit to us photographs of the students. We ask them for birth certificate for the students, national identification cards for the parents, just to ensure that the persons who say that they are the parents of the students are indeed the parents of the students. We also ask them to submit to us the qualifications for the individuals who are going to be the tutor, just to ensure that these persons who are going to be tutoring the students are fit and proper to do so and are indeed qualified to do so. We also invite them to submit to us the timetable, because we want to ensure that though we do not have them give us what we call strict structure, we want to ensure that at least the basic requirements based on the curriculum to which the parents are subscribing to are adhered to, and recommendations for the parents who want to get approval for the homeschool.
Once the application form and supporting documents have been submitted to the Ministry's regional offices or emailed to isu@moey.gov.jm, parents will then be required to participate in an interview that will take place at a mutually convenient day and time for both the parent and interviewer.
All right, so as we would have planned, we are here to do your interview so that we can grant you the approval for homeschooling. All right? For the time being, it is virtual because, as you know, we have to maintain the COVID protocols. So we do a virtual interview. And in this interview, we try to do cameras on so that we can get to have a look on the learning space and have a real appreciation of the learning space. We also ask them information regarding the tutoring of the students, the individuals who would be responsible, because we want to ensure that what the students will be exposed to, it would be tantamount to the standards that are maintained in the public system.
If the parent or guardian satisfy the requirements of the interview, the unit will then provide them with a letter granting approval to homeschool their child. If the child was already registered at a private or public school, the parent must write to that institution's Board of Management to indicate that the child has been approved for homeschooling and to request that his or her registration at the school be retained. But even before you do all of this, there are a few things you'll need to know. First, while homeschooling has numerous benefits, there can certainly be drawbacks.
There are many benefits to homeschooling. Definitely, economically, it is much cheaper. And you can design this educational experience to suit your family's needs, which is another benefit as well. You're not bound to the requirements, the objectives of any other body, any other group. Another benefit is simply just the ability to be more flexible, to, when we have classes, when we have other activities, it's really up to the family, and the family therefore takes charge of how it spends its time, and that empowers the family in more than one ways. And you'll find that the children actually, because they're in a more fluid space, life can be organized in a way that is best suited to the child's psychological and emotional needs. Some children prefer learning in the evening, some children prefer early morning, and so you can tailor your educational experience to suit the child's needs. Some of the limitations, persons may not be aware of the resources that are out there available to them. Parents, guardians may not feel that they can manage the education program. They may feel overwhelmed. There might be challenges for example, in my personal circumstance where I have children at varying age groups. There is a challenge in a sense to split myself up to ensure that everybody is given the appropriate amount of educational time. That's a challenge. Another challenge is in relation to the parents who themselves may have other functions that they have to perform in society, whether it be professionally or otherwise. It sometimes can be taxing to manage all the different things that go into preparing for the child's education, administering the educational program, and balancing that with their own personal development.
If you are still sure that you want to embark on the journey of homeschooling, there are a few other things you need to tick off your checklist. But don't worry, here's how the Independent Schools Unit is helping you do that.
We, from time to time, provide sessions for our parents who are homeschooling their students, because we want to ensure that the students are given educational opportunities that are deemed to be of very high standards. And so we encourage parents to ensure that there's a quiet space, a space that is secluded for learning. Based on what the literature is saying to us, if the space is organized, then more likely the learning opportunities will be optimized in these spaces. They can endorse the space with probably a plant or some kind of a natural feature like a fish tank or something like that. And we encourage parents to have the children just be in a state of readiness for engaging in the teaching episodes. And we encourage them to have simple desks and a chair so that the children are comfortable. As it relates to the curriculum, most of our homeschool parents subscribe to the national standard curriculum that is used in the parallel system, in the public system. And so all the requirements for the national standards curriculum are expected of a parent who is homeschooling. So for example, our curriculum will expose students to information technology. We encourage parents to, as much as possible, to incorporate this in the learning experience.
For any additional homeschooling advice and support, parents and guardians may reach out to the homeschooling associations across the island, such as the Jamaica Association of Homeschoolers.
The Jamaica Association of Homeschoolers is simply a group of parents, guardians, stakeholders within the homeschool setting who have decided that, we want to come together to enhance the homeschool experience for all of us. So we cater to the educational, social, and even the psychological needs of not just the children, but the parents, the adults involved in the process. So that could involve providing emotional support, literally, financial support, where needs be. So it is really a community, a close-knit community. And we also provide social support. So we organize activities for the families. I mean, it's all voluntary.
A homeschool policy is currently being developed by government that is to be reviewed by the Ministry of Education's legal team in short order. Once it is completed, this policy will be shared with all current and prospective homeschoolers. In the interim, for more information on homeschooling, feel free to contact the Independent Schools Unit or the Jamaica Association of Homeschoolers.
Individuals who need to contact the Independent Schools Unit, they can do so by telephone at 876-612-5708, or they can email us at isu@moey.gov.jm.
Our email address is jamaicahomeschoolers@gmail.com, simple, and you can reach myself, the secretary, at 876-317-9639, or the president himself, Shane Panton, 876-317-9643.
While government is working to get students back to face-to-face lessons safely, the onus is on us to do our part in preventing the spread of COVID-19. One way we can join the fight against the virus is by taking the brave step in getting vaccinated. Not only will the vaccine help to prevent you from getting seriously ill if you get infected, it also helps to protect the people around you, especially those at increased risk for severe illness. Vaccination is undoubtedly an important step in making Jamaica a safer place for all of us to live and learn. Hear this.
We believe it is prudent for students and their families to get this added layer of protection in order to ensure safe attendance for face-to-face engagement. We obviously are imploring our teachers as well, all the persons who work in the education sector, at our schools, whether you are the security guard at the gate who helps to take temperature and give some sanitization, whether you are the groundsman, whether you are the maintenance person, the cook, administrator, in whatever office that you work. We're also imploring those persons who work within the education sector to be vaccinated.
And this is where our program ends for today. Thanks so much for staying with us. As we go, do remember that you can meet up with us again on our website, jis.gov.jm, or our YouTube channel. And while you're online, why not head over to our social media pages? On behalf of the production crew, I'm Audrey Williams, wishing all students and educators the very best this school year. Walk good.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.